Hello, ReiZa here, and today we'll be working on remaking Route 2 of my fakemon fan game. After spending long hours remaking the tile set for the fan game, I decided to take on the grueling task of remaking some of the maps that I wasn't completely sure about anymore. And by some, I pretty much mean every map I've made so far. I've already remade the hometown in Route 1, and I even made 2 additional maps to add a little more to the world. Sadly, I didn't record myself remaking those maps, mainly because I got really into working on them, and I just was having so much fun. But this time we're working on Route 2, so let's get right into it. Route 2 always felt really long to me. I didn't necessarily dislike the map, but I always felt like I could do so much more with it, and going back to it now, I had some better ideas for improving the overall flow of the route. The old Route 2 had a few major parts to it. There was the farm at the bottom right of the map, followed by the first portion of the actual route. I liked how the area looked, but again, it just felt a little too long. The second half was split from the first by a river, which I actually really liked because it gave a visual sense that you were progressing into a different part of the route. Out of everything on the old map, that was primarily the section I liked the most. On top of all of that, Route 2 also had the smaller mountain passage. It wasn't anything huge originally, but I liked the idea enough that I wanted to expand it into something much bigger. So instead of trying to fit everything onto one giant map again, I decided to split Route 2 up to separate sections. The original farm idea is now becoming its own map, which is actually going to be a small reference to Lon Lon Ranch from The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. As for the rest of Route 2, I split that into 2 separate maps that are still considered part of Route 2. For the first half, I wanted to keep the farmland feeling from the original, so instead of completely changing it, I essentially took what I already had and compressed it into a smaller version. That way I can keep the parts of the original map that I liked without having all of the unnecessary space, making the route feel longer than it needed to be. For the second half, I decided to get a little clever with it. I kept a lot of what I liked about the original second half, but I also used this opportunity to greatly expand that little mountain passage I mentioned earlier. The important thing about this area is that it's completely optional. You don't actually need to explore it to progress the story. I personally just really wanted to start adding more optional areas to the game for players to enjoy going off main path and exploring, especially since I'm one of those players myself. So technically, I probably could have just remade the first half of Route 2, kept the parts I already liked and called it a day, but instead, I decided to go above and beyond and give myself even more work by making an entire optional exploration area. Now, throughout this whole process of remaking my older maps, the new tile set wasn't actually the only reason I decided to go back and change everything. While working on the game, I stumbled across a post on Poke Community called Mini Game Making Tutorial Series Compact Mapping, and this article was amazing. It was game-changing for me. If you're also trying to get better at map making, I definitely recommend giving it a read. I'm not going to go through the entire thing here because that's a lot of information in it, but I'll leave a link in the description for anyone who's interested. The biggest thing it did for me was help me understand problems with my older maps that I could feel were there but didn't really know how to explain it. I'd look at some of my maps and think, something isn't right, it feels off, but I couldn't figure out exactly what the problem was. After reading through that article, a lot of those problems started making sense, especially when it came to how much empty space I was using and how it could make areas more compact without necessarily making them feel smaller. And I think Route 2 is probably one of the best examples of me putting some of that into practice. The original map tried to fit the farm, the main routes, the transition into a different environment, and the mountain area all into one big map. Now, those ideas have more room to actually be their own thing, while the parts you have to travel through can be more focused. Again, Definitely go check out the article if you're interested in mapping. It's honestly even better than I'm making it sound, and it helped me out a ton. But with all that said and done, that's pretty much the new Route 2. I'm a lot happier with how the route flows now. I was able to keep the parts of the original map that I already liked, fixed some of the areas I wasn't happy with, and even expanded on ideas like the mountain passage instead of just getting rid of them. And I think that's something I'm going to keep in mind as I continue remaking these old maps. I don't necessarily want to change things just for the sake of changing them. If something from the old map already works, I want to keep it and figure out how I can build around it or make it better. Hopefully, as I keep learning more about mapping, you guys will be able to see that improvement throughout the Constellar region as well, and hopefully in these videos as well. If you enjoyed seeing the process of remaking Route 2, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help support the channel and bring more people into this project. I'm glad to be getting back into making maps, or to be slowing down on some of the fakemons as I mentioned before in the post, but I've still got a few to work on, so I'll probably post some here and there between map making videos. You guys have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao!